Alright folks, in this video we're going to cover how to start a blog. We're going to go all the way from the beginning, from getting your domain to setting up web hosting, installing WordPress, setting up the general settings in WordPress. We're going to go through some basic recommended plugins. We're going to install a free theme in case you need to keep this project as low cost as possible. Then we're also going to go over how to install a paid theme, and we're going to use one of the most popular themes and framework out there called Genesis. We'll go over that as well, and then we'll go over some simple how-tos in the WordPress admin area, things such as using menus, using widgets, adding images, videos, and hyperlinks, and probably cover a few other things as well. So this could be a fairly long video. We'll see how quick we can make it. But to start with, I'm going to show you what we recommend and use for web hosting, and we'll show you how you can get the best price on it. And you'll be able to find a link below this video to get our special price offer, which is $1.99 a month for hosting, and that'll come with a free domain name. And the company that we recommend and that we use with all our websites is called Ipage. So you'll see here I've already clicked through the link, and this is what you'll see if you use our link below the video to get this special offer. So you'll get hosting for $1.99 a month, and that's if you sign up for 36 months. If you wanted to make a shorter term, you can sign up for 12 months, and this is going to increase to $2.99 a month. So either way, it's still pretty inexpensive. By far the cheapest way to get started that we've found online. After that 12 months or 36 months is up, your hosting will go up to $5.99 a month. Now that's the case with every web hosting company out there. Once the introductory offer is over, it goes up. Most of the time you're going to see those go up to $8.99 plus a month. So this is still very reasonable after the introductory offer. Okay, so let's get down to business. So once you come here, you're going to want to click Get Started. Now you'll see the special offer price, and that's the startup package, which is all you're going to need. Here are the specs and details that come with. One domain included, that's your free domain. So then what you'll want to do is click Sign Up Now. And it's going to ask us which domain we'd like to register for free. Now, you'll have to decide this before you get here, but I'm just going to put in a fake domain. I'm just going to come up with something out of my head. So let's try myawesomefreedomain.com. We'll see if that's available. Alright, it's searching to find out, and the .com is available. Normally it'd be $8.99, but we're going to get it free with our special deal. And so the next step is to check out. Now it's going to ask you to create an account if you don't already have one. And here we go. It's going to show you a bunch of features that you can include with your hosting. So all these features can be added to your hosting package, but if you're looking to get started the most inexpensive way, you can exclude all these features. Now, some of these are a really good deal, but if you're on a budget right now and you can't afford them, you can wait, and you can always get them later. This is one that's a really good deal. SSL, $1.67 a month, basically $20 for the year. That's really cheap for SSL. Now, it's not required right now to have SSL. Basically what it is secure encryption for your website, which Google is really pushing towards right now. They want every site on the web to be secure, which requires an SSL certificate. It's not required right now unless you're an e-commerce site or you take transactions online or collect personal data. For most blogs, it's not necessary, but like I said, eventually Google's probably going to require it of every site. The next one, advanced site protection. Another one that is a really good deal for the price. This will make sure that your website is got maximum protection from fraud and malware. Malware is all over the place right now, but there are other precautions you can take without this extra feature. So we're going to uncheck that. This is just daily backups of your website. Well, there are plugins that you can get to do that, so we're not going to mess with that either. Alright, so we've got this all unchecked to make this as inexpensive as possible. We're going to continue. Alright, so we can see here it added the domain privacy. Well, and it actually, I'm going to take one of these out because it looks like it added 2 domains to my cart. I'm going to remove the one. It's got domain privacy on here. Well, that's another option. Basically, that just hides your personal information from the WhoIs database. And so, real quick, the WhoIs database is at whois.com. And if I were to type a website that I currently own in here and do a search for this, you can see where the domain's registered, where the hosting servers are at, and then you can also see all my personal information. I don't have this website private because I don't really need to. Usually you're only going to need a private website if you have a business or if you're just sensitive about your personal information being out there on the web. So if you get rid of that, this is your total cost. If you sign up for the 3 years, like I said, $1.99 a month, total is $71.64 for 3 years. Best deal online. Here again, if you decide to go with the just 12 months, it's $2.99 a month. Your total is $35.88. That's free domain with hosting, and you'll be able to set up WordPress on that right away as soon as you buy it. And so if you go through, add your information, and check out, you'll be ready to start installing your WordPress website. I already have a hosting account here, and so I don't need to complete this process. So I'm going to log into Ipage, and then we'll come back and we'll install WordPress and get through the rest of the steps to get you online. Alright, we're back. So once you've completed your purchase of your hosting and domain at Ipage, use your login credentials and log in to the control panel. I think this is the default once you log in with your user ID and password. If not, you just need to navigate to control panel. And here's where you'll see everything you need in order to install WordPress to the domain that you've purchased. And so what we're going to do is get right to it. Simple as that. You're going to find, so this is in my favorites. If you're logging in for the first time, you may not have these up here. All you need to do is go down to the website tab and find WordPress. So we're going to click WordPress. And you are taken to the do-it-yourself WordPress installer. Now, you'll see they offer some packages where they'll do it for you. So, WordPress installed to your domain, they'll install a theme. They'll do a demo setup of the theme. Got some extra stuff here. Basically, I'm going to show you how to do almost every one of these steps. So, we're going to save you about $300–400 just by watching this video. Alright, so simple as that. We want to install WordPress. Click the big orange button. Now it's going to ask which domain you want to install WordPress. Well, I have a variety of domains in here, but I have an empty domain that I connected earlier, which I'm going to install this WordPress version to. And the domain I'm installing to is iowasocialmedia.net. So I'm going to click that domain. Now if you just set up your account and you only have one domain, it should be the only one that shows up in there. Alright, so we've chose that. Now here's some helpful add-ons. This opt-in monster add-on is not a bad feature. I'm going to leave it, but I don't use Constant Contact, so I'm going to uncheck that. And then they're going to tell you to check the domain. So basically they're going to go out, make sure there's not already something installed on it, and this can take a couple minutes, so we're going to pause and come back once it's complete. Okay, we're back and it has completed the check of the domain. It says it looks like files already exist in this location. If we proceed, some files may be overwritten. Well, that's fine. This domain, I've had this domain for a couple of years, so at one time I may have had a test site on it or something. So if you have a brand new domain, it shouldn't say that, but if it does, you know there's nothing on it, so we go ahead and continue. In the advanced options here, you'll see a site title, your admin username, admin email address, and the admin password. Now these will be what shows up on your website once it's installed. There will be a title, so I'm going to call this Iowa Social Media. The username, now they default the username to your email address. You can leave it like that, or you can change it to something more simple or more memorable, whatever you want to do. Either way, all these details are going to be emailed to your admin email address as soon as we install it. So you'll get an email with all of these details and your login links as well. So for this one, I'm going to use a username of the title of my website, and then I'm going to leave the password what it is. They usually provide a pretty decent secure password, so I'm going to leave it. And then once they email me, I'll record that info into a document so I can keep it handy. And we want to leave this checked. Automatically create a new database. That's just technical junk. Leave it checked. I have read the terms and conditions. Okay. All good. Install now. And you'll see, okay, we're setting up WordPress for you up here, but we would love to sell you some other stuff. Nope, we don't need it. So this is going to install, and it takes 2 to 3 minutes depending on how fast your website speed is, or your server speed. It's moving along. I'm going to pause until it's done and we'll come back and finish. Okay, we are back. The WordPress installation is complete. So now you can view credentials. I'm going to view those credentials. Now this is the setup right here. And we should have received an email with the same details. MOJO Marketplace, there we go. Alright, so all those details have been emailed to us. You'll want to copy and paste these into a document that you can keep safe. I use Google Drive, and I keep all my logins and passwords for different websites in there. And so from here, we can go ahead and log in to our brand new WordPress website. I'm going to go from here. First, I'm going to copy my password. So this is the URL to the website, which we know there's nothing there yet. But you'll see a website coming soon page. This is automatically installed and made live by the MOJO Marketplace, which is where we did the installation through. Now, when we want to update our website, we need to go to the admin section and use these logins. So I'm going to click that admin login, and it may take a little while to load the first time. Here we go. Username. So my username is my email address. And my password is what I copied. I'm going to paste that in here. And tell it to remember me because I'm the only one on this computer. And we're going to log in. Now I'm going to go ahead and have Google remember my password because, like I said, I'm the only one that uses this computer. And so here we go. We're in the admin section of your WordPress website. Now, you'll see some little business questions, tips, pop-ups here. WordPress is just gathering information so they can get an idea of all the different site installs that happen in a day. So I'm going to say this is for business. If it's a blog, you can say personal. It's not going to have any effect on what we're going to do. They're just recording data. So it says let's launch your new website. So I've already created the site title when I set it up, and then if you want to create a little description, I'm just going to keep it simple. I'm going to update your site with news or blog posts. Yes, we're going to create a blog. So this is kind of a step-by-step thing that guides you through some of the settings. It's just a generic layout. It's asking, do you want the typical blog feed just to run underneath your header here? Or do you like this static welcome page where you would create, images to put in here, then you would have some boxes or widgets here maybe. So this is all customizable in the settings over here, which is a lot easier to do. If you choose these settings, it doesn't really tell you exactly what's going on over here. So I'm going to skip this and we'll come back to that. And so it's asking if you want to build a starter contact us page. I'm going to go ahead and have them do that so I can show you the template. Otherwise we would manually build that. And now they want us to connect to Jetpack. So rather than bounce around with all of these things that they're showing us, I'm just going to go over here to the sidebar and show you the different features that I'd recommend. I recommend Jetpack, and I'll show you how to do that. You need to connect to a WordPress.com account if you already have one, or if you don't, you can create one once you click that button. But we can also do that over here because Jetpack is already installed. It just needs activated by connecting it. We'll get into that once we start talking about plugins. But the first thing I want to show you right away, once you have set up or installed your WordPress site, I want you to go into Settings, and we're going to look through these. So the general settings. This is just going to give you an overview of all the general settings that are in here by default. Either we entered this before we installed it or after, or their default settings. So you'll see email address that's tied to this website. Any notifications will come to this email address if your WordPress website is having issues, or if WordPress has an update that you need to install. Those will all go to your email address on file here. And so new user default role, so that's just if someone let's see, okay, users, you can have multiple users, so you can determine what you want that role to be if you create a new user. Unless you have other people writing or guest posting on your blog, or you have another author that works for you, you don't really need to worry about this right now. One thing you want to make sure and do is update this to your time zone. Now, the easiest way, I'm in the central time zone, and they've got all kinds of different formats for the time zone. The easiest way to find your time zone, for me, for example, since I'm near Chicago and I know that's central time where I'm at, I'm just going to type in Chicago. If you're, whatever state you're in, you can type in the nearest time zone, or the nearest big city, and get that time zone. Or big state, I should say. Big city, big state. They've got them all in here. You'll figure it out. And the date format, time format, week starts on Monday. So this MOJO Auto Update Manager. So core major updates. So that's if WordPress has a new version that comes out. Are they going to, do you want them to automatically update that? Well, I'm going to turn that off, and the minor core updates and theme updates, I'm just going to turn all these off actually, because you have to be careful with updates. There are some themes, now if you stick to the free themes, you'll probably be fine with all these updates performing automatically. There are some themes and plugins out there from third party. If you are to use those and you have them active on your site and there's an automatic update that performs, some of those can be, I guess for lack of a better term, screwed up. So it might mess with the functionality or appearance of your site. So I always like to have these turned off. That way when updates are available, I'll still get notified in the back end here or via email, and then I'll also be able to go in and read about the updates, and it will tell me what the update is going to change or fix, or what the update consists of, and then I can make a decision from there if I want to perform it, or if I can Google it and find out if there are any conflicts with any of the plugins I have or themes that I have. So it's just kind of precautionary, because I have run into that where there's an automatic update performed and all of a sudden certain plugins don't work on my site, or the site looks funky because of conflict. So I recommend to turn those off and do your updates manually. Now, this Mojo coming soon, it's enabled right now. That's why you saw this coming soon page. I'm going to leave that enabled until we're ready to take a look at the site. Well, actually, let's just turn it off because it's not going to matter. I'm going to turn it off so I can show you what the default theme looks like. So I've got that turned off. I'm going to go over here and refresh. So this is just the default theme that comes with WordPress these days. We'll get into the appearance a little more in a bit here. I want to finish up these settings. So we're in general settings. We want to go down to writing settings. Just want to look through here. There's nothing you really need to change in here. Post via email. That's not a common feature to use. So you really don't have to worry about anything in writing. In reading. So now this is what you'll have to decide, and you can decide this based on whatever theme you choose, but a static page versus your latest post. So typically, you think of an old-fashioned blog and you would see running blog post just featured on the home page. So that would be your typical latest post layout. If you went with a static page, you could have a set home page and you could have your blog roll or your blog post in a different section of your website. That's what business websites typically do. We're going to leave it as your latest blog post because we just want a blog roll on the front page. Leave this at 10 blog post. Syndication feed shows 10 blog posts. All fine and dandy. Now this is super important here. And you might as well do this right away. There's no reason not to if you're just starting your blog. It says discourage search engines from indexing the site. Well, we don't want to discourage search engines. We want them to find our site. The reason that's there is because if you're a business and you're building out your site, or your web developer or designer is building out your site and it takes a few months, you don't want the search engines to be indexing your site when it's not complete. If it's just a personal blog and you're just getting started, even if your site gets indexed, the chance of someone finding it is very rare, especially if you don't have very many blog posts up yet. So I would just uncheck this and save it. Okay, now discussion. I don't think there's anything in here we'll need to mess with. So these are just settings related to if someone comes and comments on your blog or on a blog post. There's a variety of different settings, and you can go through those individually and see if they fit what you prefer. Usually the default settings are good enough for most blogs. Media settings, we don't really need to worry about that. Permalinks, this is an important setting. So by default, WordPress is going to display your URLs in this format. have your main root URL, and then they're going to add the date and then the name of your blog post. Well, this is not the best configuration for search engine optimization. There's really no reason to have the date in your URL. So what I recommend, and what I do with all the websites and blogs that I have installed, I change this to post name. So essentially you're just taking out the date stamp. So what this does is it just names the URL whatever you title your blog post, which allows you to make these URLs search engine friendly with good keywords that are relevant to your blog post and nothing else. No confusing numbers or letters. Okay, so that's an important one. You change that to post name, save changes, and so those are the important settings that you'll want to mess with. Now, we're going to take a little break, and then we're going to come back and talk about plugins. So hang tight, we'll be right back. Okay, now we're back and we're ready to talk about plugins. So first we're going to go over to our WordPress admin and we're going to check out the current plugins that come with the default installation. Alright, here we've got, looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 plugins already installed. Alright, the MOJO Marketplace, which is where we installed through Ipage, they provide a few of these plugins by default. This Hello Dolly plugin is completely worthless. So we're going to deactivate it, and then we are going to delete it. All it really is a plugin that just randomly sends you messages in the back end of your blog. It's kind of a gimmicky little plugin. It does nothing. Alright, we got rid of that. The rest of these are all good plugins. So, first one, we're going to take a look at this. Used by millions, Akismet is quite possibly the best way in the world to protect your blog from spam. So one thing you'll find if you don't activate this is you'll get tons of comments on your blog post, and they're just simply automated spam comments that are sent using a variety of different technologies that spammers use. I won't get into the details why they do it and what they get out of it, but just know that without this plugin you will start receiving spammy comments. So what we want to do is go into the settings of this plugin. It's a free service, free plugin, and we're going to get an API key. Click the blue button, get your API key. And since I already have an account, it says looks like you're adding a site. Activate the site. If this is your first time logging into Akismet, it won't be quite that simple. Let me see what they give me next. What they'll want you to do is either log in with a WordPress.com account or create one, which you can go ahead and do. It's free. But then they'll ask you what subscription level you want. And basically, what you'll do, so see it's already logged me back in and given me the API key on the back end, but what you'll do is if you're a new user, they'll ask you what subscription level you want, and they'll allow you to adjust it basically as a donation. They'll take whatever you'll give them, but you can also choose free. You just want to change it to free. You get the basic subscription, they give you the API key, and it functions. It does everything you need it to do. So then once you get your API key, you'll come back to the back end of your WordPress website and you'll go to the Akismet plugin. You'll have to copy and paste the API key that they gave you in here. Since I already had an account, they went through and set one up and actually populated it for me. So then for the settings, I don't need any of these. Always put spam in the spam folder for review. So you can allow them to put the spam comments in a folder and let you review it. I think deletes it automatically after 15 days. So we're going to go ahead and do that. Save changes. Okay, so that's done. So we've got that plugin taken care of. Now Jetpack. This is going to be a similar scenario. You'll have to connect Jetpack to your WordPress.com account. Like I said, if you don't have one already that you can log into, once you get here they'll ask you to log in. I'm already logged in, so it realizes that I already have an account. All I need to tell it to do is to approve the connection to this website or blog. So it's authorizing my connection. Guess it had trouble that time. We'll try it again. Okay. Second time's a charm. Okay, so Jetpack is connected. Now we want to go in and look at the features. So in the settings of Jetpack, there's a whole bunch of cool features. Notifications, these you don't have to mess with. You want notifications, and you want to allow applications to access content. Let's go into engagement settings. A lot of cool stuff here, so we don't need this. We're going to get our own SEO plugin. This is paid. We're going to get a free one. We don't need to worry about ads. We can place ads if we want to. Site stats are activated. Those are good. This is a good feature. Allows you to see page views and where your visits came from right in your dashboard. I also recommend setting up Google Analytics and connecting it to your blog. We have another video about that. We'll put that in a link below this video as well, but I highly recommend setting up Google Analytics. These site stats are good to quickly just see a snapshot of how your daily visits are going and where they're coming from, but Google Analytics can show you 1,000 times more details, like demographic information and just tons of data. Allows you to track a lot more. So the sharing plugin allows visitors to share your content. This is a feature that you'll see we can use in the widgets. Lets you create social icons that people can click to share a post or a page. Publicize. This allows you to automatically push your blog posts out to your social media accounts. You'll have to connect each social media account to this feature, which I can go in and show you in a little bit. But once you post a blog post, it will automatically send that post to Facebook or Twitter. I think LinkedIn. We'll take a look. Pretty much any social media platform. Related post. This is another feature. They don't have it turned on by default. You could use it if you want to. It will show other relevant posts from your categories as a related post at the bottom. Comments. I don't think we need to mess with that. Yeah, WordPress.com. That might be something you could explore. I don't use it. Give visitors an easy way to show they appreciate your content. Likes. I don't use that either. Okay, subscriptions. This is a good feature. If you don't have email software or an email list yet, this is a quick, easy way to get started with allowing people to subscribe to your blog. And then once they provide their email, it will automatically notify them of new posts when you create them, and if anyone comments, or if they comment and then anyone else comments on that post. Gravatars. I don't really like this feature. I think it's kind of clunky. You can leave it active. It basically just shows someone's gravatar over the comments. Sitemaps is a good one to leave active for search engine optimization. Not familiar with this. Not familiar with this either. Okay, so this must be fairly new. I typically use an SEO plugin to do this, which I'll also show you, but so this allows you to verify your website through these different platforms, so with Google and Bing, and then also with Pinterest. Typically it requires a little bit of coding to do these verifications, which, like I said, I use an SEO plugin, which I'll show you to do those, but looks like you can do it here now, which is super simple too. We'll go into that in another video. We'll do some SEO tips and tricks, and we'll show you what those are for and how to use them. Alright, so let's go to the next one, security. Got this activated already. Okay, automatically back up your entire site. So this is a paid option. Might be worth it if you don't want to worry about the technical side of backups. You can do site backups with a free plugin. You have to know a little bit about the technical side of things so that you can have your backups saved properly to an external location. The rest of these, receive immediate notification if your site goes down. That's a good one to activate. It will email you if your site has been down for, well, it should email you if it goes down at all, but then it will let you know if it comes back up or how long it's been down. Alright, appearance. A lot of these are not going to be necessary because usually your theme will have the features that you need as far as display and appearance. Writing, really nothing to worry about in here either. Make sure this is activated if you want a contact form. You can easily create contact forms in any posts or pages. Check spelling or grammar is good. I don't use this. I don't post by email. Custom content types. You can leave them active, and if you don't use them, you don't use them. But the ones you want to have active are definitely the contact form. Alright, so those are all the Jetpack settings. So if we look at the dashboard, this is where we started. This will kind of show you a little overview of what the features are doing right now. So it's loading site stats. Obviously there won't be many, if any at all. You will see those here. It's kind of showing you what is turned on for security, if any spam comments have been blocked. So these are all the paid things that won't be active anyway. If you just want to see advanced site stats here, okay, so they're saying they're still basically setting up tracking, and you don't have any stats anyway, so nothing will be in there at this point. Alright, let's go back to the other plugins. MOJO Marketplace, there's really nothing in there to mess with. Opt-in Monster API, we're not going to mess with that yet either. So this W3 Total Cache, this comes with the install through MOJO Marketplace, which I actually wasn't aware of. We were planning on installing Super Cache, but this plugin is actually just as good, and it came with it, so we don't have to worry about that. There's not really anything you have to mess with in the settings, I don't think. Let me double check here. Plugin is enabled, so we're all good to go with this. This plugin says default settings are in use. Save the settings to create the file. Okay, so we want to save the settings, which will save the configuration file. Okay, plugin configuration successfully updated. Okay, we're all good with that. Nothing else to mess with in there. Okay, what that will do though is once someone visits your site, it will help your site load much faster on their browser the next time they visit, or as they go from page to page. So it's definitely a good plugin to have active. Alright, now let's look at the plugins we still need. We still need this SEO plugin and this image optimization plugin. Unless you're really good with image software or savvy with creating images and compressing them so that they don't consist of a huge file size, this is a really good plugin to use. Most rookie users don't realize how much how big a file size is for an image, and so people, they go putting these huge images and headers on their website, and it makes the website painfully slow. Well, this plugin will help condense images automatically, so let's get that one right away. Okay, to add a plugin that's not already in here, you want to click Add New. Now we are going to search for this, copy it, paste, and do a search. Okay, so I guess they renamed it to Smush Image Compression and Optimization. This is it. It's the one with the most installs, 5 stars, good to go. We're going to install that. And once it's installed, we click Activate. Okay. Now these are the settings. Automatically smush my images on upload. That's what we want. And so it's telling you all the different variations of sizes that can be optimized. Alright. That's all we need to do for that one. Now where are we at? Plugins. Let's go back to plugins. Next one that we are going to get is this Yoast SEO plugin. Okay, add new. Search for Yoast SEO. And this is the most popular SEO plugin for WordPress. Million plus active installs. I mean, it's much higher than that. Very popular plugin. Has a lot of features. It's free. There's a paid version, but unless you're doing super advanced SEO for clients, probably is the only reason it'd be worth it to pay for the advanced version. So we're going to activate that. Okay, so you see, since it's active, there's a little notification bar up here, and it's already telling us, we have 2 notifications. We'll just see what they say. Okay, now it's basically just telling us configure the plugin and then connect to Google Search Console, which like I said, we'll go through some of those fine details in an SEO video. Right now we will configure the plugin so I can show you where it's most beneficial when you start posting blog posts. Okay, so they want me to do the configuration wizard. I'm not going to mess with the configuration wizard. I'm going to go back here and just do it through the dashboard. It's much more straightforward. Okay, so if we go to General Settings, nothing in here to mess with. Look at Features, Advanced Settings page. Okay, this we want to enable. I'll show you what that does. It's going to give us complete control and customization over your meta titles and descriptions, which are what Google reads when you post a page or a blog post to the web. Okay, this checks indexability. Sure, that's fine. Admin, menu, fine. We're going to save those features. Okay, your info. Don't need to mess with that. We're not going to mess with these right now. We're going to do that in a later video. It's part of MetaBox. So we want to enable that. So that is part of customizing our meta details in each poster page. So we saved that. Okay, so for right now there are only a few other settings that we'll want to look at in titles and metas here. Alright, we can leave these enabled. You don't have to mess with anything in the home page. But post types, just make sure when you go in here that this is set, so the meta robots for the post we want set to index. We want to show the SEO meta box. Same with pages. Same with media. Those are all good. Just make sure those are activated. We're not going to worry about taxonomies and archives right now. We'll go into more detail on those in another SEO post. And then other, you don't need to use these. So pages of archives, index. This we actually want to change to no index. You don't want to index archive pages because that is considered duplicate content by Google. Save changes, and we are good on the settings for the Yoast SEO plugin. Okay, now let's go in here and I want to show you how to install a free WordPress theme. So as you saw, since this is live, this came with a default theme. It's called 2017. So every year WordPress comes out with a default theme that is active once you install WordPress. Here's 2015, there's 2016. You can see these are very basic themes. They upgrade a little bit this year. It's still pretty generic overall. So what you can do is find a free theme. And the way you do that is you're going to go to wordpress.org themes. Now I will say some of these have some more advanced features, so if you're just getting started, you might want to stick with something a little bit more straightforward and generic. Alright, I'm going to find an easy to use theme that we can work with, and then I'll be back. Okay, so I've found this theme called Maxwell that I like. It's pretty simple. Shows your blog post, your blog roll here. Nice pictures. I like the font. I'm going to install that. Alright, so I'm going to go back to themes now that that's installed, and we're going to activate it. You can take a look at the live preview if you want to. And it's going to look pretty basic because we don't have anything on here yet. So I'm going to save and activate that so that we can play around with it. There we go. Theme is active. If we look at the site and refresh it, see, it's pretty basic. We don't have much going on here yet. So this is where we're going to get into the customization. Okay, so the site identity. If you have a logo, this is where you're going to upload that logo. I'm not going to mess with that right now. I don't have one made, and I'm not going to take the time to make one right now. But here, I want it to show my site title. That's going to be my logo for now. If I want it to show the tagline, activate that. So then the site icon, that's your little browser icon up here. Now you'd have to create that and upload that here. It'd be another image that you'd have to create along with your logo. Save, publish those changes. go back here, header image. So if we want a header image up here, we would need to create a image that was 1200 by 400 pixels, and we would upload that. I don't have one of those readily available. Let me see, I may be able to find one here. Let's take a look. One of the best places for free images is a website called unsplash.com. These are all free images to do whatever you want with, high resolution photos, no copyrights, so you don't have to worry about infringing if you use an image. Let's just see if there is a social media related header, or how about digital marketing? Let's just see what size these images are. I'm not sure what size this image is, but let's just see. I'm gonna download this one. And go back to our blog. See if we can drag this in here. Add a new image. Drag that file in. Let's see what size it is. Okay, so that image is plenty large. We want to title this for SEO reasons. Just going to put a generic title in, and you want to copy that title into your alt text, because that is what search engines read when they read media, like an image. And you can see the WP Smush plugin is condensing this image because it was 2 megabytes, which is very large, and we don't want an image that size slowing our website down that much. So we're going to select that, crop it to the size that they recommend, and so it's giving us an image here. So this is what they're considering as a header image. Now, I want to adjust that cropping. So we're going to redo that, select crop, and we're going to drag that down here to make that look a little nicer. There, now we've got a nice header image to start off our home page. Now, like I said, you don't have to have one of those. You can make it smaller if you want in that cropping section, but this is what we're going to go with for now. So header image, now you've got a background option with this theme. Now that is what you're looking at over here along the sides. So if you wanted to adjust that, you can make that blue, light blue, red, any color you want. I'm going to go back to the default Save that. And also upload a background image if you want to. However you want to make it look. And the other thing you can do down here with this theme is see what it would look like in a mobile version. So this is a responsive theme. Pretty much all of them from WordPress are. Means it's going to resize on a tablet or a phone, which is excellent. It's a must-have. That's why WordPress is great. Back to the desktop. This is what you see on a desktop. Alright, background, menus. I'm not going to do the menus right now. I'm going to show you how to do that in a little bit. This static front page. So this is what we were talking about earlier. Do you want your latest post to show here? Or did you want to make this a static home page like a business website would normally be? Since this is a blog, we're going to leave it with our latest blog post. And widgets, we're going to get into widgets in a little bit. And let's see what options this theme has. So these are all the various settings that you can change on here. Right now we have a right sidebar. This is where we can put widgets, which we'll be going over. If you wanted that on the left, you could change it to the left, and it's going to move your blog roll to the right. I kind of like it on the left, so I'm going to leave it there. We've already got a blog title and a blog description up here, so we don't have to mess with that. Next setting is post settings. Post layout for archive pages. You want one column, two columns. Let's see what that does here. So it looks like, so we don't have enough posts in here for it to show, but if we have more posts, it's going to have two columns of these archived posts. Looks like you can even do three and remove the sidebar. I like the one column of running posts at this point, so I'm going to switch back to that. Excerpt length. The excerpt is the snippet of your post that they're going to show. You can change that so it looks like it must be set to words, I'm guessing. Maybe not, maybe characters. Anyway. Okay, so it'll show a maximum of 20 words in this snippet. Since this post is just the generic post that comes with it, it's not any longer. We'll show you how this looks once we create a real post. Okay, display post date, display post category. That would be this stuff up here. You can remove that if you want. On a single post, so meaning once you click into the post, you'll see here, now that we're into the post, we've got these options. Display featured image on single post. So that would be the image that you input as the featured image in your post, not the header. We'll show you even in more detail when we do a post. Display the post author, which by default is you. Display tags. If you create tags for a post, they'll show up in here. We don't have any yet. And post navigation. So we're not going to have any of that available yet because we haven't done any post. But we'll show you what you'll end up with once you do have post. We don't have a post slider. And these would be extra add-ons and features if you were to upgrade to the paid version. Okay, now that we have gone through the appearance settings and some of the theme settings, let's go take a look at blog posts, pages, categories, menus, and widgets. Alright, we're going to click out of here. And so we've got our menu on the side here. So we've got our posts here and the categories for posts. We've got pages, and then under appearance we've got widgets and menus. Now let's start by creating a few posts. And I think first off, I'm going to create my categories right off the bat because I know what I want to name these categories. So you'll see here WordPress gives you a default category called uncategorized. So every post that you create, if you don't create a category for it, it will automatically be filed under this uncategorized category, which obviously is kind of ugly. So let's just create some categories here right away. I think I'm going to have a category called social media tips. Add that. Let's have a category called social media news. Add that. And let's just have a category on social media marketing. Okay, so we've got 3 categories that we can file our blog posts in. Now, once we go into posts here, you'll see that default post that WordPress created for us. Let's just go in here and delete that out because it's really just a sample post. And we want to start from scratch. Alright, so I've trashed that post. We're going to start from scratch. Let's just go in here and create a blog post from scratch. I'm going to click Add New. Okay, so you see the blog post layout here in the admin section. You've got your title area, your blog post area, the body of your blog post. You can see here we've got these categories available. We'll want to categorize it when we're done. And then we've got a section for tags. You can create tags that are relevant to your blog post. I won't go into the details around tags. They used to be really beneficial when blogging. They've become less beneficial and can actually create duplicate content in Google if you don't have your SEO settings set up properly. And we got a featured image area here, and then an SEO section. We won't get into the SEO section during this video. We'll have another video on that. Right now we're just going to focus on how to create your blog post and some of the features you can use in here. So right away, when you first come in here, this drop down may not be visible. You want to make sure open that up because you've got extra features in here. You've got quite a few features in here that you can use to modify or manipulate your blog post. I'll show you a few of the features while we create this. So right off the bat, let's just title this Learn About Social Media Marketing. I'm going to name my post Learn About Social Media Marketing just so we can stick with the category themes that I've got here. Now you can see the permalink. This is the URL that the post is going to live under when indexed in search engines. And so you'll see, since we set our URL structure up to be based on the title of the blog post, it went ahead and created this SEO friendly URL. So you don't have to take any extra steps to make this a nice SEO friendly URL. If you make a mistake when you're creating this and you need to change it and you want to update this, you can go right here and update this however you want. Just remember, once you publish it and it becomes indexed by Google or any other search engine, if you change that URL, when people click on the link from a search engine, it's probably going to come up with an error. So you don't want to change it after it's been out there on the web for a while. Okay, so what I'm going to do is just go get some dummy text. And so there's this website out there called Lorem Ipsum. And what it does, it just creates paragraphs of dummy text that you can use as a placeholder. It's set for 5 paragraphs. I'm just going to create or generate this text so that I can copy and paste it here. Copy that, bring it over here, and paste that in. Okay, so you can see that WordPress actually does spell checking for you, since this is all just jargon text. Obviously they're going to find a lot of errors in here, but we're not going to worry about that. You'll be able to use it as a spell checker when you're using the proper language set up in your WordPress admin. Okay, so now I've got a few paragraphs of text here. One thing I'm going to do right off the bat is create what is called a heading 1. It's basically like a heading to your article, or you can also create subheadings, and we're going to do that, and it's for multiple reasons. But let's just say social media marketing strategies. Now what I want to do with that is go up here and turn that into a heading 1, or also known as an H1. And what that does, if you look at this text editor, which is the code that Google reads, creates these tags around that heading. And so search engines use these heading tags along with your titles and descriptions to determine relevance and SEO rankings for your content. So you only want to have one H1 or heading 1 on each post or page. So down here, let's say this is social media management. Let's say this section is about social media management. I don't want to use another heading 1 because Google, their SEO best practices don't recommend using more than one H1 tag. Then you need to create H2 tags. So H2 tags you can use multiple of, and then you can go to the H3 tag for even more segmented content. So let's create one more section here and just call it social media channels. Make that another H2. Okay, so right now we've got the content laid out on our blog here. So one other thing that you may want to do, and it's recommended, is to link either externally or internally, or both, between blog posts within your blog, or link externally to resources that you might want to cite. So let's say in the social media channels, I was talking about the social media channel of Facebook. Now, if I wanted to create a link to Facebook in here, because when you create links to external sites, especially if they're very reputable, high authority sites, those are good signals for search engines. So if I was going to link to Facebook here, I would use this feature, insert a link, and you can either copy and paste the link from your web browser, or you can just type in the URL, facebook.com, then you click the blue arrow to apply that, and we'll see once we preview this post that we've got a link in our text. Okay, so this is the title of the blog post. Here's my content with my headers, and we can see down here we've got a link to Facebook. Okay, so linking is as simple as that. Now let's say we want to add a featured image to this post. And a featured image will be the main image that you'll see at the top of a blog post, and then if you're on the home page of your blog, it will show on the blog roll as well. So let's just take an image that I've already got in here. Try this one. Now you'd want to title these images for SEO reasons as well. We'll call this Media Marketing. I'm just going to copy, paste that in this alt text section, because that's what search engines are going to read when they come to an image. I'm going to set the featured image. Now we're getting a warning here that the image should be at least 200 by 200 pixels to be picked up by Facebook and other social media sites. What that means is that if you were to send this blog post through your Jetpack publicize feature, it's not likely to show up in the Facebook preview. Now what you'd want to do is use a little bit larger of an image to make sure that works. Another thing you can do is once you publish your post, you can copy the URL and go over to post it in Facebook and see if the image is working or not. We can take a look at that once we publish this as well. But this warning has nothing to do with your actual post on your WordPress blog. It's simply warning you that the image may not show if you post your link to Facebook or other social media sites. So we won't worry about that right now. Let's take a preview of this and see what our featured image looks like. Okay, so you see we've got the featured image up here above the content. Now another way you can use an image in a post is by putting an image in the content. So let's say I wanted to remove that featured image. Maybe I want to use a different featured image, but I want to use that image somewhere in the content. So what we could do is insert an image. Wherever you put your cursor is where the image will be inserted. And to add that, we'll go to Add Media again. Click the image we want to use. Now here are some settings that you'll want to play with. Right now the alignment, we have no alignment. I'll show you what that looks like. We're not linking the image anywhere, and the size that we're going to put in the post is a medium, which is 300 by 156. These sizes, so the thumbnail and the medium size and the full size are just kind of default sizes that WordPress has in here. You can play around with that and decide what you want to use, but I'm going to use the medium image. Now you can see it looks funny in here, but you want to check it in the preview again to see what it looks like, because it may not look the same. Okay, so it's very similar. Doesn't look very good. Well, here's what we can do with that. We're going to click on this image to edit. Now you can go in the edit mode, or you can align it right here. Since we just need to align it, I'm going to do it right here in this menu. So if we align left, what that's going to do is wrap the text around the image, and we'll preview that and you'll see how much better that looks. Okay, much better. Now you can mess around with that and try other options. Align right usually looks good too. You can move the image down towards the bottom if you want. Pretty much whatever you want to do as far as image placement, you can mess around and see what you like the best. If you want to change the size of the image, you'll click that pencil icon and go edit the size. You can also link that image somewhere. So if we wanted to link that to a social media channel or another article within our blog, right here, custom URL. If you link it to the media file, it's just going to enlarge that image when someone clicks on it in its own window. So right now we're going to leave that with no link. The size isn't much different, so there's no need to mess with the full size. I'm just going to leave that as is. And scroll down here. It looks like everything else is fine. Now I want to categorize this in social media marketing. I just check the box and that's done. I'm not going to add any tags. Like I said, I don't know if that's anything that is recommended these days. You could look that up and see what everyone's saying about using tags. I know you have to be careful with duplicate content. I'm going to add another featured image in here just so we have something to look at when we look at the home page of our blog. Let's preview this again. It may get congested on the post if we use that, but what we'll do here is, so that's a very large image, but it's sizing it based on the width of the blog roll. So if you wanted to, you could adjust, you could go alter your images and make them shorter. As long as the image is as big as the content width, it's always going to size it within there. But you could mess with the height of your image if you wanted to edit the image. Okay, we got this image in our content. That's all fine. I'm going to go ahead and leave that. And so what I want to do if I want to make this live is publish it. Now you've got other options in here. So right now it's in a draft status, which you can save as a draft and you don't have to do anything else. You can come back later and edit some more. The visibility, now visibility is set to public, which I would say 99% of the time is what you'll want to do. If you had a special post that you wanted to be accessible only by password, you can mess with that. If you wanted it private so that no one can see it unless you send them the link, you can choose that and click OK. We're going to leave it public because we want the whole world to see it. And then here, default is publish immediately, so as soon as you click the button, it's live. You can also schedule a post. So you can choose any date you want and the time of day and schedule future posts. So you could write all your posts out for a week or a month. Have them scheduled to drip out every day. It's a nice feature if you like to plan ahead. Alright, we're not going to mess with any of that. We're just going to publish this. Okay, so it says post published. Now if we want to view this post, I'm going to open it in a different tab. I'm going to close the preview and look at the live version. And so we see our post just like we saw it in the preview. We've got our Facebook link, comment section. Alright, so that's a blog post. Now I'm going to show you the home page, because this is what your blog role will show. Okay, when we look through the appearance settings, we set this to one blog role here, one column, with the sidebar over here, so you see we've got the blog post here. Now let's just quickly go add another real simple blog post. I'm going to take that same text. I call this blog post social media influence paste content again. Also going to put this in social media marketing. Now let's set a different featured image here. Let me get a couple more images quick. Alright, let's add these. Rename this one. And doesn't look like that one loaded. That's fine. We'll use this one for now. I'm going to set that as a featured image. Get that warning again. Let's preview this post, and as you can see, it named our URL properly. Okay, close that. Gonna publish it. Now, once that's done publishing, post published, I'm going to go back here and refresh the home page. And you'll see we've got two posts here now. Now, since this image is sized differently than this one, it doesn't look or take up the same amount of space. If you're real picky and you want all your images to be the same size, you'll just have to find or create images that are all the same size for your featured image, which is a good technique for consistency when you're building posts and creating your blog. Okay, so back to the dashboard here. So we've got two posts in our social media marketing category. We don't have anything in these other categories, but that's alright for now. What I want to do now is show you the menu settings. So this is just by default. WordPress has put a menu of pages in. So they've got the Contact Us page and their sample page that comes with the install. But we don't have our blog categories up here. So how can we get our blog categories up here? We have to add those to the menu, and we'll need to customize the menu to do that. So let's go customize the menu. The menu is in Appearance, Menus. Alright, so now we see the default menu. It's called Menu 1, has the 2 pages, Contact Us, and a sample page. Now what we want to do are a couple things. First of all, I want to add a home link up here, just in case some people they're not savvy and they don't know you can click this to get back home. I want to add a home link up here, and then I want to add my blog categories over here. Alright, how are we going to do that? Let's go in here. Since we already have this menu ready to go, what we can do is first off create a custom link for our home page. Since we don't have a home page necessarily, it's just our blog role, we need to use a custom link in order to get to our home page. So all we have to do to create this link, go back and get our URL of our website, which leads us to the home page. Gonna paste that in here. So as you can see, we've got the full URL. Now the link text, which is what we want to show in the menu, we're going to call home. Add that to the menu. Now we don't want it on the right side of the menu. We want it to be the first thing in the menu. We just drag that up top. So now we'll have home, Contact Us, sample page. And this would be any other page on the site you wanted to put in here. If you have other pages that you've built for your site, such as a privacy policy or an About Me page, you just go in here into the Pages drop down, view all your pages, and you can click a page and add it to the menu. I don't want to add any individual posts to the menu, which would be in here. These are all my posts. I don't want those in a menu, but I do want the post categories in the menu. So we're going to view all the post categories. But if we were to put all these in the menu as is, what you'd see is just a string of categories along here, which is fine if you only have a few categories, but I want those to be in a drop-down menu of categories. So I'll show you how you would do that. First, I'll just show you what it would look like if I add those to the menu as is. Okay, we've got all these pages and categories in our menu. Now, I want this to be in the main navigation, which it's in the main navigation here, but after your first install of WordPress, for some reason this isn't checked, and so it won't always display properly or follow directions. So I'm going to click that because that's where I want this menu to be displayed at all times. So I've saved that menu. Let's refresh the home page. And we've got our home link, pages, and our categories. Like I said, if you only have a few categories and you've got room up here, you sure can do this if you want to. What I want to do is put those in a drop-down menu. So there again, what we're going to need to do, essentially we're creating a custom link but it's not going to link anywhere. It's just going to be the home for these category options in the menu. And the way to do that, since we don't want it to link anywhere, we just want to show the text categories, we're going to go in here and enter the hashtag. Now what that does, it just makes the text link inactive. Now link text I'm going to call categories. You can call it categories or blog categories, whatever you want. But you have to make sure you have this hashtag in here so that it doesn't error when you add it to the menu. That is added to the menu, but we want that to be the parent of our actual categories. So what we do here, we need to move these over as sub-items of that category. So we've got the custom link of categories, which allows these to live underneath there. So if we save that, I'll show you how it functions. Go back to the home page, refresh this, and you can see all our categories have been housed under the parent category, and we can access those as such. I think that looks a lot better, and it's kind of fancy. Okay, so our home page is starting to look like a blog. We got our blog roll here. Only thing missing now are some widgets in the sidebar. I'm going to show you a couple things the sidebar is excellent for to use widgets with. Alright, to find the widgets, we're back under Appearance. We're going to click Widgets. Now since we installed Jetpack has a whole bunch of different widgets that they provide. WordPress by default has some that they provide. We've got a calendar. You can list your categories on that sidebar. A custom menu if you wanted to create a custom menu of various links over there. Facebook page plugin that comes with Jetpack. A whole bunch of different things in here. We won't go through all of these because some of them I haven't even used some of these because they just don't necessarily fit what I've ever needed to do, but I'll show you a couple that are really beneficial, especially if you're just starting your blog and you don't have an email list or email software yet. What you can do is use the blog subscriptions widget from Jetpack, which will allow people to enter their email and get your blog post updates every time you post a blog post. Okay, so we want to add it to the sidebar. You can see we've got a few widget areas here. The header area, the sidebar, and then this magazine homepage, which came with this theme. It says appears on magazine homepage template only. You can use the magazine post widget here. We're not using the magazine homepage, we're just using the blog roll. So we're not going to mess with that. And I don't really want anything in the header. This would be good if you had maybe a search bar or you wanted to place an ad in the header. You could do it there. We're only going to worry about the sidebar right now. And I want to add this blog subscription capability. So what we've got here is, and it's preset with a title and a description. You can modify this however you want, make it personalize it how you want to, but it's just a subscribe to this blog via email, and it will allow a user to put their email address in here, and then once they confirm, they'll automatically get an update in their email every time you post a blog post. I'm just going to leave these settings as is and save it. Now that's saved. Let's go back to our home page and refresh that, and we've got our subscription widget over here. All someone has to do is enter their email address, click subscribe, and it will email them a confirmation, and once they click that confirmation, they'll continue to get updates in their email each time you post a new blog post. Pretty good way to collect email addresses and get people following you in your blog. Now, real quick, where you'll find those email addresses when someone subscribes is in your Jetpack settings. So let's go over here to the Jetpack settings, and I'll show you where you'll find those emails. Okay, when you're in the Jetpack settings, I'm going to go over to engagement, and we'll scroll down to subscriptions. If you click on that, view your email followers. I'm going to open this in a different tab. What it is doing is connecting to your WordPress.com account, which is what was required to set up Jetpack earlier. Now I don't have any email followers, but if I did, their email address and their contact info would be in here, and you'd have a list of people that have subscribed to your email list. Okay, so that's the subscription widget. Another one that's handy, if we go back to widgets, is the Facebook widget. Now this requires a Facebook page, not just a personal account. So if you have a Facebook page for your blog or business, you can use this, but what you'll do is drag this up into the sidebar as well. You can put it on top, or you can put it on the bottom of your blog subscription. And what you'll need to do is create a title. I'm going to say follow me on Facebook. And then you'll need to go get your Facebook page URL. Like I said, it can't be your personal Facebook. It won't recognize that. You have to use a page. So I'll just use this brand here. I'm going to paste that in here. Now you shouldn't have to mess with these settings, but if it doesn't display properly, you can change that a little bit and see if you can manipulate that to look different. Then you've got a couple options here. Do I want to show profile photos in the plugin? So that would just be people that are following your page. Do I want to show a page post stream? Show a cover photo? I'll leave these at the default settings and see what it looks like. So I've saved that. Let's go back, refresh again. We scroll down, and our Facebook page is populated as we showed. Now real quick, let's just see what happens when we show the stream. Save that, refresh again. Okay, so it actually shows a running stream of the recent posts. So you've got those options there to do what you want with. And as far as widgets go, those are a couple really beneficial widgets that you can use right off the bat. Like I said, you can come in here and play around with these. You can place just an image in your sidebar. You can place a list of your recent posts, a search box. That's another real good one. If you don't already have a search box for your blog, you can add that. So instead of dragging it, you can also just add the widget from here, and then we'll go up here and call this search. Save that. Now I want this to be at the top, and these automatically save when you move things around in here. Okay, so I've got my search box, subscription, and Facebook widget. Got our menu in order, so we've got a pretty good looking home page now. Okay, so that's all we're going to cover on widgets. Like I said, you could spend hours in here playing around with widgets. You can also search for other widgets on WordPress.org that might be beneficial. Unlimited options when it comes to WordPress. You can pretty much do anything you want. Now, another thing I want to talk about real quickly is the difference between a page and a post. So, a post is obviously a blog post, which can be categorized. Now, a page is a little different. It's very similar to a blog post, but you're not allowed to have comments on a page. You're not allowed to categorize a page. What they're really designed for, a page is primarily designed as a static web page for information or to display maybe a location map or contact info, similar to the default contact us page that they've got on this blog here. So you've got a form where someone can contact you, you've got your information. Now that's a page. As you can see, there's no area for comments, and this cannot be categorized. Now pages and posts, like we saw, can be put anywhere in the menu, but a page won't show up in your blog roll anywhere. Now some people, I think, have trouble with trying to use a page as their category. I've seen that in the past, and I actually tried the same thing when I was starting out. I wanted my pages to be a category because I wanted to customize the page and make it fancy and have a header, but that's not possible. You can't house your blog post or categories under a page. A page is simply just a page on its own. So anytime you need to use a page, make sure that you're not using it for blogging or for your blog roll or for a category. You'll want to use your blog post and categories for anything related to your blog roll. That's one thing that can be very confusing with WordPress, but once you get the hang of it, it makes complete sense. Alright, so other than that, I think we've covered most of the basics of getting your blog up and running, getting it looking alright, and adding images, adding posts, customizing your menu, adding pages or customizing pages, adding your sidebar widgets, and getting a few posts up. Alright, we're going to call that a wrap. If you've got any questions, feel free to reach out to us, and we'll provide some links below this video to some of the resources that we use and some other beneficial videos that we've created that you can use along with this. But if you guys are looking for anything else, just let us know in the comments, and we'll always be looking to create more useful information for you. Alright, thanks a lot.